Well, I live here in San Diego with my mom and dad, and I had been searching for some archived articles for my dad regarding his bicycle riding back in the 30s. And he had medals and articles and ribbons and even a jersey, I think, at one point. And I wanted to find the lost memorabilia for him and for our family. We were having dinner one night. We had asked my dad some more questions about his bicycle riding, and so finally I said, well, who did you ride with? Who were there other guys that you rode? Maybe I could find their names. And he said, well, Carl Spencer was my main guy. I'm like, I haven't researched him. So I went in and snuck over to the computer and started doing a search. And long story short, I found Carl Spencer, or who I thought was the Carl Spencer. And so after dessert, I called them into the family room and I printed out this article that I found online about 89-year-old Carl Spencer, former professional bike racer from Oklahoma. And I handed it to my dad, and my dad looked at it like it was some sort of magic coming out of the computer. And I said, this is the guy. This is Carl Spencer, and he's alive, and he lives in Chicago. So it was goosebump time.
We both thought that each other was dead. And so it was almost tantamount to a resurrection.
He called me that next day, I believe it was, and said, Carl Spencer here, calling you from Chicago. And I just couldn't believe I was actually talking to him. And so then he called my dad, and the same thing. Then my dad called me right back and said he'd just talked to Carl Spencer. And it was just amazing. From there, the plans went into motion for Carl and his wife Elaine to come from Chicago to visit my mom and dad. Carl and Elaine decided to take the train, and they rode coach the whole way from Chicago. And we drove down to the San Diego train station, and we got out, and we were really anxious and nervous, and we were waiting, and one train came and we thought it was their train. It wasn't their train. And then finally this other train pulls up. I said, no, that's not their train. And we walked towards the train, and then we were turning back to go back into the station, and all of a sudden my dad said, there they are. And I turned back around, and here's Carl in his big felt hat and his wife. And he came over, and as soon as I saw him, I cried because it was amazing. And then I saw him hugging my dad, and it was so sweet. It was really, really, really sweet. It's been amazing as far as other family members being able to get excited about his history. And Carl brought pictures of he and my dad in their sponsored jerseys, and their riding caps, and their riding shoes and socks, and their little shorts, and it just kind of opened up this whole new chapter at 90 years old.
Carl was a tremendous racer, but I got the best of him one time when we were riding towards El Reno, California. I saw a graveyard in the distance, and I said, Carl, there's one place I want you to beat me. I said, right over there to the graveyard. He just had heart surgery, but he pulled through like he's always done, and so again, we're neck and neck. We've had a great time together, really. And like I say, for us to meet after 70 years, it was really an unbelievable experience.